just
That's right.
people blocking fire hydrants all over town. I called that intersection at 3rd and Santa Fe.
You've got to put this on UCR because the kids are going to want to see it. So you got to do a little because they can just go to YouTube and they get every angle. I still got this tape. I remember I was on the downtown level where we could go into the main watch it on one of their.
We're live. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Reverend Dr. Paul Ogle, who will be giving us the invocation. If we all please stand and receive Reverend Dr. Ogle.
Lord, we thank you this evening or this afternoon for being able to gather together. We thank you for this city council, city commissioners, Lord. We ask you to give them wisdom, give them understanding, give them the major issues that are here to guide this city and our community. Thank you so much for all the guidance you've given them, the wisdom and the help that you've given this community and the people that so appreciate the hard work and the efforts that they put into this. Thank you so much for their wisdom. And Lord, we ask you to just bless them today. Continue to guide them. Continue to help them through the major parts of what they've got to sort through. Give them the answers and the inspiration to be able to continue to fill the needs of this community. Thank you for them providing safety for us and giving us a safe weekend. And thank you, Lord, for being able to help them to look into the future, to guide us so that we can go to greater and better things. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Ogle. Dr. Ogle is a former colleague of mine at Atchison High School, where he taught for many years chemistry and all of the extremely hard classes. So we thank you. He also was in charge of National Honor Society for many, many years, and I've learned a lot from him, and he gave us a lot of wisdom and help last year. So thank you. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Ogle. Appreciate you being here. All right, at this time, I will call the meeting to order. And Tina, if you could please call the roll.
Mayor Young.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. At this time, we will have our public forum, which I will open. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for information purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. And we're welcoming Mrs. Jackie Prejean, who is one of the chairs, is that correct, of
Yes,
the Amelia?
ma'am. Yes,
Earhart
ma'am. Jackie
Festival.
Prejean, 307 North 2nd Street. Amelia Earhart Festival Coordinator, and that's primarily why I'm here.
Absolutely, and take the time you need.
Okay, just a couple minutes, because I think once in a while, I don't do this every year, but I think once in a while it's really important to come and publicly say thank you. Say thank you to the city, to Mark for all his help, to Public Works, to the police department, to the fire department, to everybody actually here in the building that provides help every year, and just to comment on a fantastic weekend. And it was hot, but it's not as hot as it was today, so I'm thankful for that. Everything went really well, very few problems that have come back to me, and also to tell you that so many wonderful comments from the people that were here, from our people from Derry who are still on their way home, from our people in Washington, D.C., from all those people from California. All of our special guests were just above and beyond impressed with all the courtesies and how nice everybody was to them. So just wanted to say thanks. That's really it.
Well, thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's fun. It's fun. Yep. It's
Well,
a
every year
fun
I'm
weekend.
so impressed with all the detail things that are just ready to go.
They are. And I will say,
Sometimes they're an inconvenience, the streets.
yes, they
but
are.
it's
Sometimes we have
necessary.
trouble, but yeah, and I will add to that because I talked to Travis this morning and he said that the Blackhawk people said they've never in 30 years been at a concert that was so perfectly, everything worked perfect for them and they were very pleased. Plus they think that Bellucci's has the best fried chicken they've ever eaten in their life. So, so thanks for everything. We appreciate it.
Well, I just want to thank you also as well. And just to let you know, I have heard from several people in the community, and I was at Walmart early this morning, and one of the staffers there stopped me and just wanted to say thank you and just raved about how wonderful he thought that the festival was, and was just very excited about all of the events this summer, but especially the Amelia Earhart Festival, and it's just wonderful. So
Great. That's
thank
good to
you.
hear. That's what we want to hear. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, does anyone else want to address us with the public forum? Okay. If not, we will close the public forum at 4:36. All right. Next, we will have our consent agenda presented by Mr. Mark Westhoff, our city manager. Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. 2 items on the consent agenda tonight. First is to approve the minutes of your June 22nd, 2026 special City Commission meeting. And the second is to approve the occupational license for Astlali Cocina y Tequila. As you may have noticed, they were serving over the weekend. We were able to provide them with a temporary license when they proved that they had their state license in place. And then this, before you hear today, is to approve their annual permanent license.
All right, excellent. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda?
I move we adopt it as read.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second? Wonderful. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the consent agenda as read. Are there any questions or concerns? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Did they have another restaurant in town?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And I heard from them today that they had planned to be open for the festival and then kind of close and ramp up and have an opening. But they were so successful over the weekend during the festival that they decided they're just going to stay open and kind of start with a limited menu and build on it. So they are open for business down at the River House site now. So
I had lunch there Saturday.
great.
It's a nice space. The staff was extremely accommodating and everything's clean and looks good.
Great.
Food was good.
Good report. Yeah.
Okay, all right, wonderful, very exciting. All right, great. Next up with our new business, and again with Mr. Westhoff, our board openings.
That's correct. So we advertised for a handful of board openings. July is typically when a lot of the openings and vacancies come up. So we had the kind of perennial one that we're having trouble filling, which is an industrial representative for the Design Review Committee. We still did not receive any applications for that, so that is still remains open and we will advertise again. Then we had 4 expiring terms on the Economic Development Advisory Group. We had 2 of those reapply, Mr. Alan Turnett and Mr. Joseph Penning. They reapplied for 3-year terms, and the other 2, we did not receive applications. So we would likely go out for advertisement on those again as well. But the first to consider is the applications of Mr. Alan Turnett and Mr. Joseph Penning for another 3-year term on the Economic Development Advisory Group.
I move we accept their,
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we reappoint Mr. Alan Turnett and Mr. Joseph Penning to the Economic Development Advisory Group, or EDAG. Are there any questions? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
I did hear from a couple individuals over the weekend who said they had an interest in that, so I will re-advertise for that for the 2 remaining openings and get that out again.
Great.
The next is the Park and Forestry Board. As we've discussed before, this board has 9 seats on it. This year there were 3, there were 2 expiring and 1 that has been vacant for a little while now. So we did not receive any applications for those 3 seats. That's one that's still open. We're going to advertise for it again, try to get some to fill those seats. If we're unable to fill those 3 seats, I may come back with a recommendation to reduce that to 7 seats instead of 9. That will help the 6 current members be able to reach quorum more often so they can actually meet and work on some parks items. And I think 9 is probably a little too much for that board. But if we get 3 applications, obviously, then we're happy to have those. So we'll advertise for that again.
Okay. All right. I would just reiterate, please, if you are looking for a way to get involved in the city, please think about the Park and Forestry Board.
Yes. The next is a very important board, which is the Planning Commission. So the Planning Commission is one of those boards that has actual, power to make choices for the city. The other boards are more advisory to the City Commission. This board actually, they help process of rezoning and variances and things that have to do with the zoning regulations of the city of Atchison. So we had 2 expiring terms. Those were for the seats of Mr. Roger Denton and Mr. Kenneth Hayda. They both reapplied to have 3-year terms. And we also received a 3rd application for one of those 2 seats from Atchison resident Monica Peterson. She currently works for the Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Department, and she applied for one of those seats as well. Staff thinks that she would do a great job. We're also very happy with Roger and Kenneth. They have many years of experience on that planning commission and provide useful insight whenever they meet. So,
I see.
Make a motion that we appoint Roger Denton to the Planning Commission.
Okay, it's been moved that we appoint Roger Denton to the Planning Commission, and it's been seconded. Are there any questions? All right, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to Mr. Denton.
In the interest of some continuity, I'd move we adopt the other guy too that's been on there, unless somebody has something else.
See that?
Okay, I'm sorry, what did you say, Commissioner Murphy, did you?
I was just saying the name.
Okay, all right, okay. So Commissioner Slattery has moved that we reappoint Kenneth Haida. Do we have a second?
Second it.
All right, great. It's been moved and seconded that we reappoint Kenneth Haida. I hope I'm pronouncing that name. Haida. Okay, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation. That we reappoint Kenneth Haida to the Planning Commission. Is there a question? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to Mr. Kenneth Haida. To Ms. Monica Peterson, I would encourage you, ma'am, to take a look at some of the other openings. Even though you applied for Planning Commission, we obviously still have positions available for the Design Review Committee, and then also the Park and Forestry Board, and then Economic Development and Advisory Group. So
Absolutely.
Please consider those.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And next, we will have our water treatment plant raw water flow meter presented by Mr. Clinton McNamee, our Public Works and Utilities Director. Mr. McNamee.
All right, good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, this proposal would be to replace the guys told me the year, I want to say it was 2012, 2013 vintage flow meter. So the flow meter is a 20-inch, it's on a 20-inch pipe. It's the raw water coming from the river intake, gets up to the plant, and then they'll hit it with ozone for a pretreatment. They'll hit it with polymers, which they'll latch on to the little dirt particles that might be in the water and get that stuff to settle out a little faster. So and the flow meter is what those other systems use to tell how much to dose. And so that's the important part of that flow meter, among other things that the computer uses to combine all the systems at the plant to make sure that we're dosing the proper things at the proper rates. And so Cogent is a company that we've worked with several times. They came in with the lowest cost of $27,350.34 to replace this meter. And I am requesting a total budget of $30,000 just in case there's some odds and ends that come in that weren't part of the original scope.
Okay, very good. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that flow meter just a fin-like thing and it runs and counts the turns, or is it
It's
mounted on
got,
the outside
it's
of the
got
pipe?
electrical coils that create a magnetic field, and then the water passing through has a certain conductivity to it. That changes based on how much and how fast the water is going through it. And so these electrodes pick up the conductivity and they figure out. So there's not like a little propeller that I know
Yeah, I
of
didn't
that's
know
in
which
there
one type
spinning or
Well,
anything.
don't they make them now that mount on the outside of the pipe? You don't even have to open up the pipe to put them on?
This is in line with the pipe,
So you unbolt a little flange on both sides and drop it in there?
and it's kind of a challenging thing because these require a certain amount of, some meters, this particular meter that we're looking at does not require this. But maybe the more, I would say like maybe the more common meters out there require a certain straight length pipe before and after the meter, because it doesn't want any little eddies and changes in there. And so some of the folks that we reached out to ultimately responded with a no bid because their type of meters require a certain amount of pipe, and it's coming up out of concrete and elbowing over and back down, so there's not a lot of room to deviate from that.
Is the one we got now, it's not working, or is this just kind of a routine
The
replacement?
The company that comes, they do a lot of stuff for us, and I don't know that it's quite annual or it's just opportunistic when they come fix other things, but they routinely inspect the flow meter. And this last time, it didn't really pass inspection because the electric coils are bad. And the technician's kind of anecdotal comment is like, I don't even understand how this thing is still
It's weird.
reading numbers. It's that bad. So it's kind of one of those things where it could fail completely at any moment. So that's why
You say that one's about 14 years old?
I'm thinking it came in with ozone, and I'm thinking ozone was around 2013. So 13 years.
Did we see that when we visited the water treatment plant?
No, we didn't. That building basically has the one pipe in it you were describing, right?
So I'm sorry, I missed the.
They didn't see that in the tour when they toured the water treatment plant, I don't believe.
If they would have, showed you like one of
Pointed it
the
out,
ozone
maybe.
skids, the raw water skid,
They
and then
did,
there was a
yeah.
big pipe behind it that kind of came up, and
Yeah.
that would have been the
Okay.
raw water pipe. And that flow meter doesn't. If you don't know what it is, you probably would have just thought it was part of the rest
That's
of the
true. You
pipe.
did see the raw water pipe.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Okay, all right. Very good. All right, any other questions for Mr. McNamee? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to authorize city staff to hire Cognite to replace the raw water flow meter at the water treatment plant in the amount of $27,350.34 with an overall budget authorization of $30,000.
I make such a motion.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any further question? Otherwise, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. McNamee. And up next, we have Mr. Westhoff with informational items.
Okay, we have a handful here for you. The first is the June 2026 city financial statements. Few items to keep an eye on here on page 35. Again, we are trending lower than average on our property tax collection or distributions from the county. We've been continuing to have those discussions with the county treasurer to see if there's something that's missing or if just collections are slow this year, not sure. But sales tax collection is up again, over 6.5% of the target for the month, and are well on pace to be over our budgeted amount for the year. So that is good news on the revenue side. On the expense side, as of June 30th, where we were halfway through the year in expenses, we were 4% below 50% for our total costs. So, and many of our big one-time payments for the year happen in the first half of the year. So we're in a good spending place for projections for the end of the year to come in under budget again. Next, I believe we have an update from Jill Thorne with the Chamber to go over their quarterly statements and activities.
Fantastic. Welcome, welcome.
Why, thank you. First off, I just want to tell everybody thank you for everything that the city has done in the past 3 weekends, and thanks to all the organizers that have done everything they've done for the past 3 weekends. It's been a busy 4 weekends in a row in our little town here. So I kind of broke this up into my 3 different hats that I wear, which is Chamber, Tourism, and Main Street, just to kind of give you guys an update on each one of them that we're working on. So on the Chamber, I've really honed in on workforce development this year. And I have an internship program that we're working with 409 for that we will be rolling out on their second semester. And then we are doing a work local program to educate kids about the cost of working local versus the costs of going outbound, because as you know, we bleed some workforce. And we're going to put that into 409 and 377. We got our new website up and going, so it's a little bit more user-friendly. We're currently gearing up for BC Bash, and of course, we are still accepting new members to the Chamber. We've had 5 this month, so that's been great.
Fantastic.
To put my tourism hat on real quick, we hosted 2 travel writers. You probably saw everybody sharing their things. And our socials are just expanding and going. We had a 145% increase on Instagram this last quarter. So we have a program that looks at all of our socials, looks at all of our content, tells us what we can, analyzes it for us, tells us what we can do better and where we need to hit. And Instagram is that younger population. And so to see a spike of 145% in the quarter was pretty exciting. So then we had over 1 million impressions this quarter. We're currently gearing up for Muddy River and Haunted. Our new visitor guide is currently being printed at Port Richards, so she should be getting that to us. And then if you haven't done the bucket list, please stop by and get a bucket list. Allie and Maddie created it. I got questions regarding it, and I have to be honest, I actually have a staff that comes up with ideas and runs with them, and then says, hey, Jill, this is what we're doing, which is great. So then to put my Main Street hat on, we are working on our business incubator space to start pushing that out this fall. So hopefully we have a new business next year in it. We are working on the CCA still. On the 400 block, we are working on signage. We already painted the fence right outside of the hotel that kind of wraps around the city's electrical, so that cleaned that up very nicely. And then we have this great big huge mega chess board to go in there, and then the Main Street committee is also working on a plan for the Gaslight Alleyway, putting some lights in. And we are very excited to tell everyone that the Main Street is partnering with First Fridays, and First Fridays will be coming under the Main Street Bridge next year.
That's exciting.
So, do you guys have any questions for me?
It was Instagram that went up.
Yes.
Do we
I
know?
mean, we had an increase in all, but Instagram was 145% increase.
That's amazing. Do we know what that was contributed to?
So Maddie's just doing a great job, first of all. And I'm not going to say anything about her age, but it's when you have someone that age that is posting content for that age,
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference. So, and then also the reels are huge. So,
All right.
yeah. So our Instagram went up, our TikTok was up 108%. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, you continually do an excellent job, so we appreciate
I don't do it
you.
alone. I don't do it alone. So,
Well, thank you to you and your
It
team.
would be, excuse me, it'd be nice if you had last year's numbers next to this to compare things. Everything's looking good, but I mean.
yeah. So if you look at the budget versus actuals, that budget number is very close to what was last year, because that's how I build the budget. So that kind of gives you a rough estimate of it, if you would like. Yeah. But I can provide that the next
No,
quarter
I'm
that I'm
okay.
here.
How can we be helpful?
You guys are just supportive, so I appreciate that wholeheartedly.
Well, Mike and I are big TikTok guys, I'm sure.
I mean, we can definitely get you to star in some of our TikToks.
Absolutely.
This is how you tear down a truck.
Go into their office, you might accidentally start one of the videos. So they're pretty ambitious with getting people to jump in. So
Yeah. I think they've accosted the board a couple of times when they've come for board meetings. So, yeah.
Well, very good. As
All
well
right.
they should.
Yes.
All right.
Any other questions for me?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Excellent job.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do, Jill.
My pleasure.
I'm sorry. Any timetable on the common consumption?
Yes.
So we are going to be submitting the application to ABC to actually authorize the CCA. And then the final question is working with the businesses to determine which ones want to participate and which ones don't. So on the city side, we're going to submit that application to ABC, and then we will work with Jill, and I'm sure she already has started polling many of the businesses.
Yeah, I've already visited with most of my list. I have like 3 to get more to get in front of. So all of that paperwork is done and ready. So as soon as the city has their approval from the state, I can put all of that on and then send it up to ABC. So, and I'm working with some local providers for cups and signage right now.
So Jill was nice enough to come in and talk to our ownership about it, which was helpful. But who is the license through? Is it the chamber or the city?
The actual common consumption area license will be under the city of Atchison because they own the streets.
We decided that'd be the best way to go.
Okay. All right. I see. And then businesses are receptive most or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Joe, would you mind staying for 2 more items since you're part of the historic survey thing?
I will be glad
Okay,
to.
all right, thanks. I saw you got your bag draped over you. I just wanted to put the brakes on it for
I'm
a
just so
second.
ready to get back into the heat.
Nicely done, Justin. Nicely
So
done.
we'll get to that pretty quickly. The next is the financial report from the event center. Travis was not able to be here tonight, but I sit on that board. They've been talking about a very productive quarter, and you can see they came out almost 9,000 to the good over the quarter with just the event center financials. Obviously, they have the other 2 pillars of that company that generally make a little bit more money than the event center side. So, but that is a positive sign on that end as well. The next is, as Justin mentioned, the completion report from Post Oak Preservation for the Atchison Downtown Historic Resources Survey. So if you recall, you all approved that we should move forward with this survey of the properties in the downtown area. We had a number of public meetings with the company Post Oak, as well as with the Kansas State Historic Preservation Office to discuss the process as well as to discuss these results. The full survey is available on the city website. It is over 100 pages long. So please, any property owners in the downtown district or anyone who's interested can peruse that. This is sort of the summary document that is merely 10 pages long. And the core kind of takeaway from it is that they did find that there is at least one option available. In fact, they identified two, and kind of in discussions in the last meeting, we talked about possibly expanding on one of them as well. For a downtown historic district in the city of Atchison. Again, this is the first step of that process. If you all would like us to pursue it, and if the property owners downtown are interested in it, we can move forward with the actual application process, which would take a little more time and money to do so. But if you kind of want to see the map version of it, you go to page 68, you can see the area that they surveyed, outlined in the dashed blue line. Again, this is all available on the city website for anyone who's watching and would like to take a look at it after the fact. So on page 68, that's the area they surveyed. You will see, and Justin, you chime in whenever you'd like, the properties with the green are either already listed on the Historic Preservation National Historic Register, or they have been deemed by the survey that they would likely be contributing, meaning they would be considered historic if there was a historic district. The red are the properties that would be considered not contributing, either because they are too new for construction or for some kind of large renovation that happened in the past that would make them to be not considered historic. That's kind of the big picture of the survey. There's a lot of property details in the report as well. Page 69 is one of the possible historic districts. It is more condensed than the survey area. It's the highest concentration of potentially contributing properties in the survey. So it's smaller, has a much better, probably has the best chance of being approved as a historic district because it is highly concentrated around Commercial Street, has a really high concentration of historically contributing structures. But it doesn't include a lot of things that we would consider and say, well, that's historic and that's downtown, because it's really focused in on that high density area of historic buildings around Commercial Street. The second option is then on page 70, which is a much larger potential historic district. We talked about also in option 3, which is carving some of this out with boundaries and maybe expanding it in a couple areas to grab a few properties that we know would likely be considered historic but weren't part of the survey. For example, actually the Theater Atchison building, which was the Christian Scientist Hall originally, that's part of the Presbyterian Church property. That would almost certainly be considered historic. It was outside the boundary of the survey, but when we go to the stage of actually doing a district, if we just did a little extension on the purple dotted line there, we could capture that and benefit them as well. So this would be a lot larger, would encompass more properties, be more economically impactful, and might be a little less likely to succeed in the application. We'd hope it would still be successful, but strictly for a couple reasons. One is that there would be more non-contributing properties within the district boundaries, which is something to consider. And the second is that you also need to get 50% or more assent from the property owners within the district in order to move forward with the application, which the bigger you get, the harder that might be to find. So I have pretty good confidence that we could do this larger district personally, but it might be a bigger ask and probably cost a little bit more as well. So, Justin, did you have anything you wanted to add?
So a couple of thoughts come to mind. The first is that for somebody who's at home watching this and wondering, why,
Sure.
I'll reiterate, there are two primary things for why this matters. The first is that properties that are either listed on the registry or contributing to a historic district are eligible for, in Kansas, what's called the Heritage Trust Fund grant. Memorial Hall in the most recent cycle got a grant. It's funded by a fee. Anytime you register a mortgage in the state, some funds go into the Heritage Trust Fund, and they award over $1 million a year to properties throughout the state. very competitive, but it gives you access to that program. If you're not on the registry, you don't have access to that. So that's one thing. And that's all well and good, but the big ticket item is that you have access to state and federal historic tax credits. In Kansas, that entitles you to a 40% tax credit on what are called qualified rehabilitation expenses, and in many cases, you'd be eligible for a 20% federal credit. I'm particularly familiar with those programs. That's why I have a company and a private development business, is because those two programs exist. Everything as simple as like replacing a TPO roof on a downtown building, which can now be $50,000, $100,000 to get a simple project like that done, to get a 40% tax credit that you can sell and monetize, is a really big deal. And you might say, well, I don't want the government telling me what to do. Okay, fine. You don't have to participate. If you are a contributing building, you can do whatever you want inside. You can put, cheap drop ceiling and laminate tile through wherever you want, but that doesn't entitle you to the tax credit. So you do have to play by their rules. But that's why the program exists, to help people maintain buildings in a historically appropriate and a historically, the historic aesthetic. The state and the federal government have both said that's valuable, and so they offer that program. You might not like that program, and that's fine, but many other communities, we're not the first ones coming to this program. Many other cities, Lawrence, Topeka, Hutchinson, Hayes, Great Bend, Newton, McPherson, the list goes on and on, specifically have downtown historic districts. There are two others in Atchison. Most famously would be the Amelia Earhart Historic District, and then there's a small one on 3rd Street called the Fred Burns Historic District. Commissioner Slattery owns one of those houses that's in that smaller district. Now, back to the survey. I'm really surprised at the percentage of properties that are deemed contributing. I'll give you a couple of examples. So like the Mall Towers building is deemed contributing. The Alps building deemed contributing.
You mean it would be eligible for
It would be
this?
eligible for all of those programs.
Damn it,
I'm
man,
gonna
I'm
tell.
getting
I'm gonna
old.
tell.
I worked on that building.
Yeah. There's a number of other examples that we could go through, but way higher than I would have thought. What they call in the historic terminology, what they call the period of significance. So a specific building might have a period of significance, from like when it was built through its heyday. Their period of significance for this survey is from like 1850, which is when the very first shacks of downtown Atchison are assembled, all the way through 1976, which is the end of like the 50-year cutoff. And that's super interesting because I would say like mid-century development, there was like kind of a mid-century development boom even in Atchison. So like the Wells Fargo building or the Burger building, there are a lot of those. They're not 1880s. We have some of those too, but we have even like the Mall Towers building, what would it be, 71? That's old enough at this juncture. So in some ways, like we were late to this party. Like there's cities who have been doing this for 20 years, 15 years. It's interesting that by waiting till this point, we've encapsulated a longer period of significance, and some of those buildings that are only 50-some years old can realize the benefits of that. So if you can imagine, like at some point, Mall Towers needs I haven't been inside there or whatever, but things don't last forever. Depreciation's real. I say that because I do work out in Great Bend. Their similar development project to that they call the High Rise. That building just did a total redo using predominantly the power of historic tax credits, and so that would be on the table here as well. I was just really shocked at the percentage of contributing properties. I view it as my job. The reason I sit here is because I consider myself an expert in finding like where can we find resources to make good things happen. There is not, it's all, a historic tax credit program is a by right program. Like if you apply and follow the rules, you get the funding. It's not competitive in that fashion. So it's the single best development incentive tool that's actually accessible to, if you had a historic district, it's accessible to someone who owns a single, very small downtown building. They can access the benefits of that if they're willing to kind of put in the time or meet with me to understand how to access it and use it. So anyway, that's a handful of collection of thoughts on it. I can answer questions about it, or Mark, or ask Jill to sit here too, because
When you
That's a
sell these
three-headed
tax
thing.
credits, do you have to discount them very much typically?
Depending on the size.
yeah, the discount rate shrinks the bigger you get, but you could sell a $10,000 one for worst case scenario 85 cents on the dollar.
How much?
85. If you got up into like multi-million dollar certificates, those can get to like 93. So that's kind of the range.
As you recall, last year, we completed HVAC replacement at the Santa Fe Depot, which is a historic, on the National Historic Registry. So we received the tax credit, the 40% tax credit for that work by just following some of the rules for basically a simple HVAC replacement. We were able to sell those, I think 90%.
Yeah.
So in, you know, the $80,000 project received a $30,000 credit, and I think the city ended up receiving about $27,000 off of the project total. So for anyone with a business, you know, they might be able to use those tax credits dollar for dollar for their own purposes, right? But any entity, tax exempt, municipality, anything that owns a historic property and utilizes those tax credits can sell them and receive that benefit in cash.
Yeah, I will say I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, but generally speaking, the sale of those can be a taxable event.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you're a for-profit entity.
Well, when you sell the tax sale, that becomes.
Yeah, because at the end of the year, your CPA is going to say, hey, there's a deposit here, tell me what that is. Well, I sold some tax credits. Okay, other income.
Right.
I didn't always know that.
Okay, all right, that's a good distinction. Yeah, that's a very good distinction.
But really, the summary is that we think this could be an economic development tool for the downtown area, for the Main Street district, and slightly broader if you also choose to pursue it on a broader scale, for all the reasons that Justin outlined. And like he said, it does not restrict anyone who is within the district from doing whatever they want with their property. They just would not be eligible for the grant or the credits if they choose to do that, and that's up to them. But there's no hammer. A lot of people think about kind of historic buildings and the constraints and the fines that they get and things. Those are almost always local rules or older, outdated rules that are no longer in effect.
Yeah,
and
it
so
is-
if you own a historic building on the National Historic Registry and you choose to tear it down,
You can tear it down if you want.
there's no penalty for doing so, except that you don't have access to those programs.
There's some local case law, actually, about that. If local case law, you remember the sisters? Tore down that building, which was on the registry, and at the time, the city tried to refuse them a demolition permit. So they sued and won very quickly.
I see, so if they are on the registry or
You can do
part of
whatever you
this-
want.
Okay.
You may not get the tax credits if you
Right.
if you want to do whatever you want. It is a carrot, not a stick.
Okay.
So there's no disadvantage that you can think of doing this at all, because that not being able to tear it down was one thing that I heard. But that's been changed, so now there's no
I
disadvantage.
mean, it's possible that we would spend some resources on this, and it's a state program, so it's subject to the state legislature's whims. If they decide that it's a waste of money or something, they could end the program. That's possible. I don't think that that's likely. That hasn't happened. It tends to be of bipartisan support.
There's no risk for the individual property owners at all.
No.
The only risk would be, like he said, if we decide to push forward with it and spend some resources on that to benefit the property owners, and then the program goes away. But again, in recent years, they've been expanding it more than contracting it. So there's hope considerable hope, I would say, that that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Change classification of property for real estate.
Correct. Doesn't change your taxes.
I know some people make an improvement and then all of a sudden they're,
No, it doesn't change your taxes at all. I mean, you do an improvement on the building, it changes the value of the building potentially. That's up to the county appraiser, but
That
it
wouldn't
has nothing
matter.
to do with whether or not it's historic. In fact, in some cases, you might end up improving the value of the building more if you did work that would not be considered historic. So it doesn't impact taxes directly.
Okay. Jill, from the Chamber's perspective, would you like to share thoughts? We'd appreciate it.
This is one of the reasons we became a Main Street, was to revitalize our downtown. And that's one of the pillars of Main Street is revitalization. And we know that businesses struggle, especially with the higher property taxes. And if one of them needed a new roof, that could be the end of that building. So and it's not advantageous for them to try to do it one building at a time, because what does it cost, Justin, for you to put one on?
Yeah,
Anywhere
it's $5,000 a pop.
Yeah.
Like when we got the old YMCA listed, that was $5,000. When we got Central School listed, it was $5,000. When we got Fox Theater listed, it's $5,000. Now, those are multi-million-dollar projects. So in the scheme of things, it was very much worth it. But if you're a single storefront building, that's a less apparent benefit and the time to do it. So
Right.
the way that that's solved for is with these districts that batches a lot of eligibility into one package.
Yeah, so
So
I
moving
think,
forward this way, that would eliminate that for each of the buildings. We'd have one
Right,
fee
they
that
don't,
way,
they don't have to
the
be
city would have
individually
to pay.
listed.
Right.
They don't have to get individually listed.
So we would have to pay the one-time fee.
Well, it's not, the best thing is that it is an economy of scale. It will not cost, I mean, there's over 100
Yeah,
potential properties
Yeah.
here.
I don't
It's
know.
not gonna cost us,
We're meeting,
5,000.
so
but
we're
it would be
meeting with,
5,000 total probably.
I don't know, we're meeting with Post Oak later this month. This was the bulk of it's not, there's still work to be done to do the nomination. We're meeting with them later this month to understand what it would take for them to take that next step, and we'll report back after that.
but it will not, I mean, you're talking about over 100 properties.
No, it's
here, 5,000 each. If they each individually went, that's $500,000. This is not gonna cost anywhere near that. The survey, we had a grant for, the total, I think, was $30,000. And I anticipate the application process would be similar or less, hopefully, so.
Okay.
So if you applied for the larger area and that was declined, are you able to go back then and apply for the smaller area?
I don't think, so part of the reason you hire somebody like Post Oak is because they have a very high degree of predictive ability.
Mm-hmm.
We would not go forward with something that they didn't give us assurance would pass.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of confidence that either district would pass. There is some sort of, it's about balancing resources, because the bigger district is more expensive to get listed, which stands to reason. It's also like maybe there's some places where there's some property owners who very much don't want to be included, and if they happen to be in a little bunch, that can influence the map. It's going to be kind of a mix of art and science, drawing what district we want to
Can you
propose.
give me a reason why someone would not want to be a part of it?
I mean,
What I
other than
see,
just personal preference.
You know, like Trump.
what I see is that the more rural you get, the more likely it is someone says there's just an element of distrust, like, hey, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. That doesn't. And the more rural you are, the less that flies.
Yeah.
So I've encountered that a fair amount out in the rural towns that I've worked in.
That's good. Which districts, I mean, do you have a preference? Do any of you have a preference?
I would personally love to go for the larger one, or basically as large as possible, because for me, I'd love to try to extend those benefits to as many properties as is reasonable.
That makes sense.
One other thing I want to mention about it, though, is whether we do this big, small, whatever, somebody's going to wind up upset because maybe last year they bid off a big project that they're going to be on the outside looking at, because it starts once you get listed. Now, we're aware of projects inside that district.
It could make it so they're not contributing anymore once they finish.
That's-
But the other
that's
thing is
true.
that's going to be communication that we need to provide to these locations and saying, we're working on this. If you want to take part in it, just be aware it's going to take a little time, and you might not want to do anything in the meantime, or you might want to follow these guidelines in the meantime.
I see. What is the time frame?
They've said potentially in a full year.
It just depends on timing. It has to go through the state first. That state board only meets 3 times. So if you happen to you miss that
window
Yeah.
by a day, by accident, whatever, you wind up waiting 4 months
Yeah.
for the next meeting just because.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So a year is about average, although 8 months is possible. That's my experience with single buildings. A district is different because you're trying to build like a coalition of support. So these public meetings, the first one we had, I think, pretty good participation. The second one, we had like 5 people there. So, and that's despite, the chamber sent it out through their network of, downtown email addresses and their larger network. We rely on them a lot for the public communication stuff. That's despite that. So I don't think you have to get all of them to sign off on it. I think it's like a 50% would have to veto it.
Opt out, yeah.
But we still want to communicate with everybody to be fair and transparent about what we're proposing.
Okay, I see.
I think we ought to move forward with it. Sounds like a good program to me.
I would agree. I think it's a great opportunity for both business owners and individuals who own property in whatever district that we're able to put together. Great job. Anyone else? Any more comments? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. And next should be communications. Let me switch to my.
Well, I still have one more.
Oh, yes,
That's
your-
just my update.
Yes, your
at the end
update.
here. So, obviously, as you heard from Mrs. Prigent, we had a wonderful turnout for both the carnival last week, as well as the Amelia Earhart Festival events over the weekend. We did get feedback that the carnival organization is interested in returning in the future. We're trying to figure out scheduling with them and with a sponsor locally, possibly Amelia Fest, possibly someone else, depending on if they want to continue with it. And so we had, obviously all the talks, awards, concerts, the air show, drone and fireworks show over the river. It all went well. We report minimal problems from law enforcement, fire department, and a generally uneventful cleanup for city crews. So we thank the organizers for that, as well as all of the staff that put in considerable overtime over the last 3 weeks, really going all the way back to the 4th of July. So thank you to all of them. For me, I wanted to mention what Mayor mentioned at the beginning, or Jackie mentioned it. A highlight for me was the visitors from Derry. There were 3 ladies and a gentleman from the city of Derry in Northern Ireland. They were here for the week. They're from the Amelia Earhart Legacy Association, which is an organization there in Derry that is trying to keep Amelia Earhart's legacy there, and the part especially that involves Derry, where she landed on her transatlantic flight, keep that alive. So the mayor received a letter from the mayor of Derry. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it at all, but she also drafted up a response. So
Yes.
do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to in your comments?
We could do it now, and that way we can reserve the time for the gentleman. But yes, I received a very kind letter from the mayor of Derry, and in addition to that, lovely crystal commemorative that it was actually a picture of where they meet there in Derry. And in turn, I was able to source a commemorative china plate that featured our Atchison County Courthouse, and on the back of it, it had information about our courthouse and the history, and it had a gold trim. And so I was able to correspond back to the mayor and also give to the delegation from Derry the commemorative plate. And it just was extraordinary. What the mayor of Derry said was that obviously she is very supportive of Amelia's legacy, very excited that she had a delegation here to represent Derry. I had the opportunity to converse with the women from Derry a few years ago over a Zoom call, and then one of them was here, I think, 2 years ago. And so it was great to see them. It fosters such great community cultural exchanges. Just includes the legacy of Amelia Earhart that looms large, just not over Atchison, but over our entire nation. invitation, and it was just an honor. And thank you, Mark, for helping me on Saturday, which was your day off, so appreciate that, and for everyone. But it truly was an absolute blessing, and we look forward to many, many more exchanges.
Yeah, so we'll include that letter. You have a copy of it there, but the mayor received it too late to go in this packet, so we'll include it in the communications packet for the next meeting. So, thank you.
Yes.
Update on the airport, very good news. Half of the runway has been poured, and the runway ends have been poured, and the taxiway connection to the airport building has also been poured. So the contractor plans to come back and pour the other half of the runway this week, depending on if the rainstorms come through at the end of the week or not. We'll see how that goes. And they are still anticipating opening the new runway in August. So staff is working on a transition back to full operations at the airport with the city's FBO, hangar leases, and more opportunities to come. So we will continue to keep you updated on that. I happened to meet with representatives from Senator Moran's office over the weekend, as well as Congressman Schmidt, and they both showed interest in coming out to see the new airport when it's completed. So I think we'll have more coming on that front. We talked about the water treatment plant tonight. You all have had previously authorized filter carbon replacement, so an update on that. As it was successfully completed last week, staff are now beginning work on washing out the debris buildup from the raw water basins, which is also a process that needs to take place once in a while. So plenty of work going on out there. City staff will be publishing an RFP for our city audit services next week. And with the scope of work, a potential 3-year contract for whoever wins that bid. That will come back to the City Commission for review and approval in September, so you can keep your eyes open for that. Kind of an update on the Sultry. We have city staff, with thanks to Urban Lawn Care, have completed kind of the salvaging of all the wood from the site that can be processed in some way to create furniture or art pieces. And so we have possession of some of that. We have multiple ring cuts that are curing that we'll be able to create displays about. And we're continuing work with St. Benedict's Abbey on slabbing and milling the rest of the larger logs soon. We also were able to connect with a wood turner in Weston who has taken control of the burls from the tree, the kind of the knobs on the tree, which are really beautiful pieces of wood to create art from. So he has begun work on that, and he's stated that those art pieces will come back to the community. Finally, also the Atchison Art Association has their contest open for a design for the site, a memorial at the site of the Sultry. That is open until August 1st. There is a prize, as well as they have said that they will try to help fund that memorial that wins. So then, kind of to wrap all that up, city crews will be going out to the site to clean up the remainder pieces. We have had lots of folks come and take pieces of memorabilia, and the remainder is clearly, no one is interested in the rest of it, so we will be taking that this week. We'll be cleaning up the site. So just a heads up to anyone who may not have gotten down there and would like something. And then finally, the city budget process continues forward. We had our meeting last week to discuss this. We'll have another follow-up workshop to look at some final items to discuss in the budget and the revenue neutral rate. Then, just a reminder on the timeline, the proposed budget will be printed in the Atchison Globe on August 14th. And then I will present it to the City Commission on August 17th. And then the actual R&R and budget public hearings will be held on September 8th at 4:30 p.m. here at City Hall. So the proposed budget will be public for almost 3 weeks before that hearing, so lots of folks will have a chance to take a look at it. I will present it here 2 weeks before the hearing, or almost 3 weeks before the hearing, and then we will have the hearings here at City Hall.
Okay. Could you go over those dates one more time, just to make
Sure.
sure folks know?
So the proposed budget will be printed in the Globe on their August 14th edition. I will present that to the City Commission at the next meeting on August 17th. And then the R&R and budget public hearings will be held on September 8th at 4:30 p.m. here at City Hall.
Okay. All right. right, very good.
Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Westhoff? Okay, if not, great
Thank you.
report. Thank you. Thank you for all of your work. Appreciate it. All right, at this time, governing body comments, Commissioner Greenlee.
Just to echo all the comments that were mentioned earlier about city staff, police department, fire department, and your department, Clinton, on a great weekend, and even the day after, Sunday morning, traveling downtown, you could hardly tell that there was festivities that took place other than the barricades and the cones. So, job well done. And also, congratulations to our mayor for a wonderful job of emceeing and presenting at the luncheon on Saturday. Very good job.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Ditto.
Well, he
Well, I was
covers
at
it
the
all.
belly of the beast Friday from 8 a.m. to whatever time I got home, and then back Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to whatever time I got home. And the crowd was great. I know they were miserably hot, but the people that attended did a nice job. As I said earlier, I was so impressed with the detail of preparation for those events. And then everybody, the police had, a lot of things to deal with, none of them bad, just the getting in and out primarily. But again, the cleanup, I'm back down there early Sunday morning, and cleanup was already done. And then the barricades all disappeared this morning. So everybody's right on top of it, and just so organized. I don't know how you could hardly get any better at it. And if anybody's as tired as me, then they worked hard. So.
All right, very good, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Slattery?
Well, the banquet was, the speaker, I'm not too sure I understood part of it, but she was a brilliant, brilliant person.
Wasn't she?
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you, that was
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
There seems to be a little bit of an issue. I sure like that when we have stuff down in the park. It's in the shade and everything, but maybe we could look at maybe using some buses to let people have a ride down there. I don't know.
So for
I saw
the,
some buses
yeah.
go by, but
for the festival, they do schedule an off-site parking,
Yeah.
and they bus people
I
down.
saw they had a sign and everything for it.
So we didn't.
Everything looked great.
Yeah, we didn't for
Quite
the
a show.
carnival or the 4th of July, but if those continue, we can look at that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a show that, I never had seen those,
The drones.
That was
Yeah.
impressive too. Okay.
All right, Commissioner Murphy?
I just overwhelmed by the number of people who volunteered their time and their money to make this an amazing success, and it was an amazing success. I'm sure there were some little blips that we didn't see, but everything that I went to and I attended was spectacular, and it really puts us on the map in a good way as a community. And talked to anybody from out of town, they said, "How'd you guys do all this? Bigger than me." It was very, very good. I think we should be proud of ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would concur with everything that was said, and just especially proud of the hard work and the dedication of specifically two individuals, Mrs. Karen Seberg and Mrs. Jackie Prajant, whom we heard from Jackie today, who have chaired this festival for many, many, many years, and it's always excellent. And this year, it really was one of my favorites, and just a job well done to both Karen and Jackie, and to all of the staff. And Vice Mayor, you talked about, and also Commissioner Greenlee, about how well the city crews were out and cleaning up. And I was out early this morning, prior to 7, and city crews were there getting the cones and all of that. So truly tremendous work. We really do have dedicated and talented staff. A couple other items of note. So when you said that the honoree for the Amelia Earhart Spirit of Amelia Award was brilliant. She is Dr. Duilia De Mello. She is an extragalactic astrophysicist. So really, really smart woman. Yes, you did. You did. You did. Just a brilliant, brilliant
Mike,
woman.
you didn't get that degree?
Yes. So
I don't even know what classroom it was in.
yeah, she's a brilliant, brilliant woman. Another person that I really enjoyed was Dr. Arnold, who came from Boston, and she talked about Amelia's time in Boston and that Amelia worked as a social worker. And I didn't know that. And so just an incredible individual, not just for aeronautics, but also just an incredible human being, one who loved service and pushes us to be better. So we appreciate that. Additionally, I'm so delighted that the Chamber is working with both USD 409 and USD 377 to encourage our young people and entrepreneurship. All of that is so very, very important. And I spoke with a young man this morning who works for one of our contractors. And he was talking about how he enjoys being able to work in the town that he grew up in. And so we want to encourage that. So with that, does anyone have anything further?
Well, our mayor did a good job of visiting with us with that competition there. You held your own.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try.
I move we adjourn then.
All right, excellent. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Mayor, I have one thing for you to sign.
Just want you to sign a copy of that letter for us. I made a copy, but I don't know.
I know.
Hey, Justin.
All right.
Justin.
And, Clinton and Mark, I want to chat with you guys for just a quick second.
Where's your buggy? Are you buggyless?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
You have,
I have to go